Alright, so what is going on, everybody? It's your boy Saturn, aka Swagner17, and this is going to be my first of many Madden 19 videos. And obviously by the title, this is an offensive scheme video and how to win more games online. But before we start today's video, I'm just going to hit y'all with the crazy thing that's been blowing my mind. So basically, I woke up August 6th at 11 p.m. when Madden 19 was released, and as I'm recording this video, it is August 8th. 1 p.m. in the afternoon, and I have gotten absolutely no sleep since then. I even worked a full shift at my job, and usually I'm really tired after that, but this Madden 19 is a new type of addicting drug. But basically, I have not stopped playing this game, and I've been trying to get as much experience for myself as I could so I could drop this video with some good, reliable tips. So if you do not have Madden yet and you're looking to get a head start, or you already do have Madden and you just need a few tips, stick with me because I'm going to get into it right now. Alright, so basically the most important thing to being successful in Madden 19, and I know this really doesn't count, but just playing the game. The game plays a lot differently than previous years. You're going to be needing to get used to it again. The player motions take a while to get used to, and running the ball is a lot harder than before, which is actually a good thing because it's going to take skill to run the ball this year. So once you're familiar with how the game plays, which at least for me it literally took, if I'm guessing, 24 hours worth of gameplay. As I said, I've been up for a long time, so I've had a lot of hours already into this game, but I feel like I'm 100% comfortable with everything now. At first, not so much. So maybe for you it'll take like a day or a few days, and that's okay, but once you're feeling comfortable, you need to find your team. You want to choose a team you are familiar with, a team where you know their strengths and weaknesses and know what plays and players to use in certain situations. Luckily for me, my favorite team is the New Orleans Saints, and they just so happen to be one of the best offensive teams in the game. So there's a little bias with that decision, but I honestly think you guys will find a lot of success with the Saints this year. And hey, the #1 player on the leaderboard only uses the Saints. But I'm just saying, maybe you don't want to use the Saints, but your favorite team really isn't that good. Well, if you want great teams to help you be successful while you still learn the team and how they work, the Rams and Falcons are arguably the best team in the game, along with the Patriots, the Eagles, and Packers, of course. But I feel like the Rams, Falcons, and Saints are more versatile for the scheme we are trying to pull off. So now that you're comfortable with gameplay, mechanics, and your team's ability, you need to have a playbook that assists your team. And using the same playbook while doing the previous steps is going to benefit you a lot. So if you want a shortcut, you can go ahead and download my custom playbook. I literally spent 3 hours going through every single play in the game, choosing what plays work, and I also set up the ratings to where certain plays will show up in certain situations, as well as all the audibles for every single play. So you can go ahead and give that a playbook a download. It's called Brother, and I showed you guys how to download it here. And an easy alternative, I highly suggest using the Saints playbook. It's not really biased. You can ask literally any Madden player. The Saints have had one of the best playbooks for years now. And my playbook is pretty similar to the Saints, but ultimately mine is better, and it really has a lot of more optimization and better suggested play calling, if that's how you roll. So now that you have your team and your playbook, before just going into an online game, and I know this is going to sound boring, but you're going to want to go into practice mode, or at least play now against like the computer and just play offense only. And you're going to want to find the plays that work for you. And just a little tip if you're still watching the video, the majority of successful plays from the previous years is still pretty successful in Madden 19, and the few plays I'm going to show you are exactly that. Alright, whether or not you skipped this part of the video or you've watched all the way so far, we are finally going to get into the actual plays we are running. Now, these aren't exactly like cheesy money plays or one-play touchdowns, but these are plays that I found to be easy in the fact that you can make 1 or 2 reads every play, and you literally cannot fail at moving the ball. Now, obviously, the playbook is full of great plays, but I'll just narrow it down to 5 plays and go over the basic for those plays. And the playbook I'm talking about is mine, of course. Some of these are in the Saints playbook, but all 5 of these can only be found in my playbook only. So, I mean, you guys can run the Saints playbook and find some of these, but if you want to have all of them, you're going to want to download mine. Basically, here we go. So the first play I want to show you guys I mean, if you've played Madden ever, you should know this play, Saints halfback wheel, or just halfback wheel in other playbooks. It's a pass play out of single back, tight formation. There are 5 routes, and you'll almost never be reading all of them, so don't worry about that. Let me explain what makes this such an easy play. The tight end running this drive route, or you could flip the play to make it more versatile, but the tight end running the drive route, you can set him on a drag. That's usually what I do. That's more personal preference, but basically, I'd say 8 or 9 times out of 10, this is my first read, and where I end up throwing most of my time anyways. The CPU cannot cover the drive or the drag unless your opponent specifically tells them to cover flat and underneath, or even to catch man from the opposite side of the field, and that's kind of a lot of user setup, and that takes, you got to be fast, and he's got to be a pro player to really do that. So the only other way he could stop it is by usering it, so you got to be careful if your opponents are usering. And usering is more difficult this year, but never test an opponent's user, and never test a CPU anywhere near the ball. The CPU is a little slept on this year, I think. They can make some pretty crazy interceptions by themselves, and that's even surprised me sometimes. Now, if your drag route isn't open, immediately check the corner and see if you can tell if it's man coverage or not. If he runs man coverage, the corner route is 100% open no matter what. There's just some routes that man coverage physically cannot cover in Madden. Like, that's just a known fact. Also be picking up tendencies on what your opponent likes to run. If you see that he's running cover 2 every single play, or like cover 2 man every single play, he's going to be in big trouble. So if he's running one of these plays, the easiest way to identify it is by checking the safeties up top. If you see 2 safeties, that usually means it's some type of cover 2 over top. So when you see this, you should be excited for a big shot downfield. This is where the post route comes into play. Especially if it's zone, the post is usually wide open, and if it's man, the corner is wide open. And the drag should be open either way if you just want a few yards. Alright, so if all of your reads are covered and you haven't got sacked yet, you can look at your halfback on the wheel, and occasionally I'll find him open early on in the flats, or even just sitting downfield by himself. This play can be good to run a lot, as long as you're making good reads and continue to make positive gains, but if your opponent is good, he might shut it down early on, so you might have to transition into some other plays. Alright, I know this video is probably going to be pretty long, but I'm going to go a little faster through these next plays. I'm not going to go into much detail, but you're going to get the main idea. So the main run play I use, and I have been using this for the past 3 or 4 years, since Madden 16 at least, inside zone. It's a really good play to just get 3 or 4 yards, and that is a great football play. You get 3 or 4 yards every single time, you're going to be moving down the field, you're going to chew the clock, constantly converting down the field. Like, I can sometimes have 6 or 7 minute possessions in these 5-minute quarter online games. This is a great strategy for winning games. Time of possession is something that people don't really take into consideration when playing online. That is a huge factor in becoming successful. Alright, the last 3 plays I'm going to show, I'm going to go over quickly and when you should use them basically. So alright, DBL under, it's out of empty in my playbook, as you can see in this formation. It is a good conversion play on 2nd or 3rd, medium or long, you can run this play. So 2 main reads here, but a 3rd one could come into play. You're going to want to be looking at R1, and 9 times out of 10 he's open, I swear. Another preference thing, I like putting the tight end on a streak. Just helps you out sometimes, and a lot of times you're going to see him just wide open, and that's like an easy free 20 or more yards. Sometimes he gets a touchdown if you're lucky. Now if those are locked up, it's probably because he's using some type of good man coverage play, and lucky for you, triangle, the out route, beats man coverage no matter what. So you want to go ahead and throw that for an easy 10 plus yards. Alright, second to last play I'm going to show you is spacing. Now at first glance this might look like a really bad play that you'd never want to run, and while it doesn't make too much sense, this play just works. It's a great 2-point conversion play as well as short and medium situations. I would say not to run it too often because even a poor user could end up stopping this play. So mix it up and just be unpredictable when it comes to using this play. Alright, the final play, it's one of my favorites. There's only 2 simple reads, and that's why I love it. So on this play, you're going to want to the guy's going to come in motion once you obviously hike the ball. If the corner follows him, it's man, obviously, and that wheel route should be wide open because the corner has no chance of keeping up for that long. If he doesn't follow, it means it is zone coverage, and then you're going to look at the drive route, and most of the time he should be open, but if not, you just look back at the wheel, and he should be open. One of these players are guaranteed to be open every play, and if not, I guess you're just going to have to take the sack, buddy. But I don't think I've really gotten sacked that much doing that play. But this is a great play for getting just chunks of yardage downfield. You're gonna want to spice that one up into your gameplay. Don't use it too much. Just be unpredictable with your play style. All right. I know I said that was going to be the last play, and I know this video is long as frick, but just one more quick play, all right? It's out of the same empty formation as the DBL unders. This is the wide receiver screen pass, where it has the corner on the back end, you know? Very basic read. So if he's playing off, or if you can tell he's playing zone, you're going to throw the screen. You might get a couple yards, and if the blocks go the way they should, you'll be getting a huge gain. But if the corner is pressed or he's crashing like the screen really hard, it's likely man coverage, and as we know, corner routes beat man coverage, so you're going to want to throw that for the easy first down. Alright, I know that is a lot, and hopefully you picked up some tips from this video, and it will help up your game in Madden 19. If this video can get 100 views, I know it doesn't sound like a lot, but if it does, I will come back with a very detailed defensive scheme. I mean, I used to make these videos for previous Maddens, and they were somewhat successful, getting over 300 views, which is pretty good for me. So I hope you guys did enjoy, and until my next video, deuces.